Okay, so just a bit about myself. I've been with Waldner since our setup in Singapore. It's a German company with a very small team here. So we do labs, everything about labs only. It's a very niche industry. So like Subasa said, he has 10 minutes to talk about A-change. I have 10 minutes to talk about film hood. So when Sarah approached me, he said, okay, just take note. Probably not everyone in the room know what is a film hood. So yeah, it is an equipment. So when we talk about energy saving, there are many topics. So we know, okay, we know how we need to save water, recycle. There are some topics that we all know. But there is one topic, film hood, that it is very important, but unfortunately, not many people know about it, especially come to labs. So for these 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about what is a film hood, like why is it important in today's discussion. So we start with the very fundamental. What is a film hood? So basically, you can imagine it as a box. It's an enclosure. So the fundamental is it is an enclosure with ventilation that makes sure everything is extracted out. So basically, everything thrown out from the film hood, ultimately thrown off the building, to keep the user or whoever using the film hood safe. So that is the fundamental. And where do we see film hood? So it is not the cooking hood that we have in the kitchen. And I don't think you will see a film hood at your HDB also, and also not in shopping mall. So I can say, okay, based on statistics, 89% of a chemical lab, at least there's a film hood. And this is the layout from S9, one of the building here. And you can see the yellow one, the one highlighted in yellow. So just one story itself, there are 52 film hood, which is a lot. And this is just one story, and there are multiple stories. So you add up that whole building, there are hundreds over film hood. Yeah. So, okay. Okay, so we want to know about film hood is not something that was invented yesterday or what. It has, along the time it evolved. So all these three pictures, they are Waldner film hood, is a German film hood. That is the one being used in NUS also. So we can see that it evolved over the time for almost a century, but the fundamental stayed the same. An enclosure with ventilation and keep the user safe. So that is the fundamental. And when we talk about film hood, normally we think, okay, so the scientist, the user is the one that work with film hood. But they are not the only stakeholder. So when we talk about film hood, who are the person involved? It starts from the very beginning, from the manufacturer, the engineering, the design, supply, install, and then the facility, the FM team take over for the maintenance. And of course, you have back office, like you have your boss, you have the procurement that take care of the everything. Of course, the researcher, the user or the student, and you also have the safety officer that care about the safety. Okay, so we know what is a film hood, we know where we will see a film hood, not at home, and we know how it evolved over time, and we know who are the stakeholders. Then come the question, why do we have to talk about film hood? Like, why am I here standing here? So is it so important to talk about film hood when it comes to energy saving? Okay, now we will know. So based on some statistics, okay, basically one film hood consumes as much energy as 7 HDB. That is assuming based on the 4-room HDB. There is only one film hood. So if you remember just now I showed S9, just one story, there are 52 film hood. So do some mathematics, or you can type 52 times 7 HDB. That is the amount of energy consumed by film hood itself. Okay, then it comes to the next question. Film hood is just a film hood. How can it consume so much energy, right? It's just a box only with ventilation. So, I mean, okay, the most probably you have a plug lot, like some people plug it to charge your iPhone, and probably you have an oven inside. Most people can't think of how a film hood consumes energy, and so much energy. Okay, again, some facts and figures. So from a lot of research and studies, we know that fume hood consume about more or less half the energy of the lab. And then we can see on the pie chart there, we see ventilation, 44%, cooling itself is 22%. So these two add up around 66%. And if we go into detail, so similar to what Tsubasa shared just now, it's a very typical layout or side view of a lab, whereby you see the red color one is the exhaust, and you have blue color one, your fresh air supply. So, okay, if we go back, one step back to the fundamental, so fume hood is a box with a ventilation. So it actually extracts all the air out from the inside of the fume hood, and of course the air comes from your room, goes into the fume hood, and then goes to the fan, and then throw out of the building. And when you extract air out of the building, your room will not be vacuum, right? So you have to balance it. So there will be fresh air coming in. And the fresh air come in, like what Tsubasa said just now, it's not the 35-degree or very humid air from the outside. You have to go through treatment, you have to cool down, dehumid, and then before you send into the room. So this is where the energy goes. So another way to explain is, so we know one fume hood consumes as much energy as 7 HDB house. So imagine when you work from home or when you are at home, so sitting comfortably in your study room or whatever, or even living room, then you turn on the aircon, and then the next thing you will do is you close the window. That is common sense, right? And imagine if what will happen is if you turn on the aircon, say 24 degree or 25, very nice afternoon, and then you leave your window open. So the next thing is you'll be surprised by your SP bill. When you receive it, okay, no surprise, no heart attack. And then the next thing also is your aircon will die earlier, because your aircon have to work harder, non-stop. So these are two things. So electricity bill, yes, that is something that we definitely can see at the end of the month. Then the next thing is your aircon, the aircon life. So a fume hood is even worse. So imagine at home you have the window open, you are wasting your aircon out, whereby a fume hood comes with a ventilation. It's not like the open window. It actually draws the air. It sucks the air out. And typically we see fume hood has a flow rate of about 1,000 cmh. That is meter cube per hour. So 1 meter cube is about this size, we know. So imagine 1,000 meter cube. That is 1,000 times of this much of air throw out of the building, and you have the same amount of air come into your building. Yeah. So basically this explains why a fume hood consumes 7 times energy as your HDB. Okay, and we know already fume hood consumes so much energy. So the next question is, how can we do something to save energy from a fume hood perspective? So there are many things we can do, but mainly we focus on these three, which is number one. For example, at home when you turn on the aircon, close your window before your grandma come or whatever. So always close your window. Same for in the lab. So in the lab, probably you don't have someone come to check against you, but remember, always keep the sash closed. So we have this very cute smiley sticker that we apply in S9. So we put that sticker there after we did the optimization program with Sarah, so that to remind the user, always close the sash, just like when you close your window at home. So this is the first one. And then use a low flow fume hood whenever possible. Of course, there are some misconceptions that for safety reason, I need to have very, very high flow, which is actually not true. So it's not something new already. It's been done and it's proven with a lot of technology. So let's say you can reduce your film hood phase velocity from 0.5. It's a very common or phase velocity. Okay, maybe just some quick one. The phase velocity is the A speed that travel into the film hood. So imagine your phase velocity is 0.5 meter per second, and if you reduce it to 0.3, simple mathematics, you save 40%. That is one film hood. So imagine like S9, 52 film hood in one floor. So you take that amount of 52 times 7 HDB, and then you save 40% out of it. That's a lot. Yeah. And of course, another thing we can do is by demand-based ventilation. So what we can do is, instead of the conventional constant airflow film hood, you have a VAV, which is demand-based. So it only regulates open the damper when the sash is open. So only when someone is using the film hood, then the exhaust start to ramp up. And when someone is not using it, or like over the weekend, or over the lunchtime, lunch break, or even toilet break, there will be auto sash also with integrate with a lot of sensors. So the sash will come down, the damper will close to save energy. So mainly, I mean, there are, of course, a lot more, many ways to do it, but these are the three things that we do to save energy. Okay, maybe just a quick one. I forget I have this slide. So this is extract from BMS. So the live data, so it shows that in S9 building, before we did the energy optimization, it was 44 A change. It means within that room, in 1 hour time, the A changed 44 times. Feel like a wind tunnel, right? Okay. But it's not a wind tunnel. Okay. And we did some energy optimization. We managed to bring down from 44 to 26. Similar to another room, 37 to 21. In terms of percentage, is about 40%. Yeah. This is a room with 8 film hood and 7 film hood. And of course, for a room with less film hood, in terms of percentage saving, probably not so much because of in percentage. But imagine if you have one room with many film hood, then you really see the difference. Yeah. So this is just one room, and you multiply by 52 film hood in one story, and multiply by how many story? I think S9 there are 6 or 7 story with film hood, right? Few. And then you times 7 HDB. And then in average, we say for the 4-room HDB, the energy, how much you pay for the electricity bill is $100 for the 4-room HDB. So you get that number times $100, that is per month, times 12 for 1 year. So yeah, there's a lot of money. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.